Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in for just a brief moment for my video blog. Wanted to talk just a brief moment about a subject that's not typically popular around this season. I want to talk a little bit about absentee fathers. And not necessarily the absentee father that is not present because, they are deceased or, by means that they could not help, due to, extreme physical illness, being in the military, things of that nature. So let me just, put that out there now. It's not about fathers who could not help their situation and could not be present. But I more so want to speak about the absentee father who did know that you had children, did know that they were, where they were, chose not to be present for whatever reason, whether it was mama's fault or daddy's fault, who, chose a lifestyle to live separate from your child. Those are the ones I want to speak about as of right now. And also wanted to kind of in that encourage those who did not have a father present in their lives. When I consider my generation, I think about growing up with people who did not grow up in households with primarily two parents. If you were like me, you grew up with your mom, most likely your big mama or your grandma or whatever you called her. Maybe your grandpa, or your pap or pa or whatever you wanted to call them. I've heard, grandfathers called all kinds of things these days, especially since I'm from the South. So, but very rarely did you really see them with mom and dad, although there were some who were like that. And so when I consider, my own upbringing and consider being a young adult, a young professional adult, and consider, where my life has taken me and how God has just blessed me tremendously without the influence of my father, I think about many people who are like me or who are, in the same situation that I am in, who grew up without a dad, or even people who grew up without a dad and tend to feel like, because I didn't have my dad, I wasn't able to do A, B, and C. You have both of those things going on. But what I was considering a few years ago when I myself, thought of those things when it came down to my biological dad, I thought about his lifestyle, and I thought about, my lifestyle and where God has taken me. I thought about, how much God has provided for me, even without him being present. I thought about, what my life could have been like had he been present. Just knowing the things that I know about him now. And it's not to say that he's a bad person. I talked to my father just this morning and wished him a happy Father's Day. So, I do have a relationship with him and we do communicate. But reality is, when I consider my upbringing and how I was raised, reality is my father wasn't present for myself or for my sister, and that's the same for a lot of my friends. And when I consider the fact that fathers are very influential, their role is to cover, their role is to protect their family. Their role is to govern and bring order to their family. Their role is to provide for their families. And when I consider what the role of a father is and consider the lifestyle of my natural father, I realized years ago that my father didn't have the capability to do for me what God himself ended up doing for me. I realized that he did not have the capacity to cover me. He didn't have the capacity to provide, or or the capacity to love me the way a father purely could. And so as a result, I began to release him years ago from that responsibility or the role of a father. Not because I didn't feel like he should, accept responsibility for getting me here. That's not what I'm saying at all. But more so because I knew that he didn't have the capacity to do it. He just didn't. And so, I feel like there are a lot of people who are out there who sometimes think the way I used to think, in terms of you should have been there, if you were here, this could have happened, if you were here, that could have happened, or if you were here, this would not have happened, and if you were here, that would not have happened. But I started to think, if you were here, what could have happened? And when I consider what could have happened had my father been around, I could have been exposed to many dangerous things, and that's the reality of it. And so I want to first of all encourage those of you who did not have fathers present, to honestly bless God, because God was protecting you from some of the things that may not have been advantageous for your life at that time. He was literally protecting your life. You are still here. You are breathing. You are, doing the things that you were supposed to be doing at this point, not because your natural father brought you to this place, but because God himself, God the Father, brought you to this place. I want to encourage you to press on, even in this season when you feel like your natural father wasn't present. Continue to press on. And to the absentee fathers, I just want to say, we release you from the pressure of trying to fulfill what you didn't fulfill back then. We're now adults. We're not 5 and 6 years old anymore. We're no longer looking for Heathcliff Huxtable from the Cosby Show to walk through the door. So we want to release you from the guilt and from the shame and from the things that come with not being present, for your children. And to thank you. Because of you, some of us are not drug addicts. Because of you, some of us are not drug dealers. Because of you, we're not prostitutes. Because of you, we were not abused at your hand. Because of you, we were not, tormented. Because of you, we were not, we weren't exposed to the different levels of abuse that could come at the hand of a father. And on the contrary, because of you, we are politicians. Because of you, we are speakers. Because of you, we are authors and we are actors and actresses. Because of you, we are preachers and we're prophets. Because of you, we are doing the things that we didn't believe that we can do early on, but we have grown stronger, we've grown wiser, we've continued to press on in this day, and because of that, we still honor you as a father. With that in mind, I say to you, Happy Father's Day.